Good morning, Nicky. Here's your machine. Thank you for your purchase. This is the Breville Oracle Touch in brushed stainless steel. As you saw in the photos, this was a refurbished unit, so I used it for a few months, serviced, and now being sold as a like new machine. It is actually like new, very little scratches as you saw, only a few minor ones here, some on the top, and a small shallow indentation on the right hand side. Nothing too major, of course. In this video, I'm making a cappuccino, my morning coffee for today. So, testing all the features from the grinder to the brewing and hot water tap to the steaming performance, and hopefully teaching you some tricks about how to use this machine as well. When you first turn on the machine from cold, usually it would be 5 minutes from cold until it's ready. I did program this machine to wake up at 6:30 a.m. So now at 7 a.m. it's nice and hot. It's highly recommended that you use a hot machine to make coffee. So rather than turning on the machine, waiting 5 minutes and making a coffee right away, I highly recommend you warm it up. So you can warm it up in two ways, either by letting it on for at least 15 or 20 minutes. You want all the components to be hot, like all the internals, the group head, the portafilter, and your cup. You can store your cup on top here and it'll actually get warm. The top plate is metal, so it'll get heat from the boilers. The other thing I like to do, instead of waiting, is to just run a blank shot. So get your cup, put it underneath, and give it maybe 10 or 20 seconds of hot water. That will warm it up very quickly. It's the first time I turn on the machine for a while, so I'm not sure what grind size we'll be using, so this video is an opportunity for me to set up those settings. So now that the boiler is filled, can do that again. Yep. Cool, once that's done. By the way, in this video I'm using my own portafilter, my own milk jug, and my own panel here, the grill, the drip tray grill. Because your one is here, I don't want to make it wet, and your portafilter is in the box along with the accessories, so I didn't want to make it dirty and wet in the box, so I'm using my own stuff. After the video, of course, I'll try to dry the machine all around, empty everything, and try to clean it, bring it back to like it was new, so that when you receive it, it's nice and clean. We don't want it to be wet or dirty in the box on its way to Sydney. Right. Once that's done, grab the portafilter and a tissue and dry the portafilter basket. You want it to be dry before you grind. This is very important because if it's wet, the grinder or the tamper, let's say, won't press the coffee properly. If it's got water in it, it might increase the friction, etc. So I would just recommend you dry it. It's better for your coffee as well. Let's add some beans. It looks like the grind size is at 20, so we'll try it at 20, I guess. See what happens. I'm gonna measure the inputs and the outputs. So the input is what goes into the portafilter basket, and the output is what comes out into the cup. From my experience, the input is usually about 22 grams on these oracles, and the output, we should try to aim for double that. So whatever we put in, so if we put in 22 grams, we want to get 44, maybe 45 grams, let's say. It doesn't have to be exact, of course. So it should be about double, and that's for the double shot, 30 seconds. Let's quickly have a look at the grind size, see if it's large or fine or good enough. That looks okay, maybe a bit fine for this machine, or for this coffee. but that's okay. We'll try it at 20. If it's not good enough, we'll try 25. That's how it is. You basically do it by trial and error. I'm gonna do it for you for this bean. I'm using Aldi medium beans. Your beans may be slightly different, of course, but I'll set it up so that it's approximately in the right range. Sometimes people struggle when they receive their machine. They waste a lot of coffee trying to get the grind size, but hopefully I'll minimize that for you and we'll get it in the right zone for espresso. Okay, grind size 20. I've just installed the tamper. It wasn't actually installed before. Very easy to grind on this machine. You just turn it to the right, you let it do its thing. It will measure the output, it will polish and tamp, and then when it's ready, it'll be a nice tamped surface. Sometimes there's a little bit of loose coffee. You want to clean that, flip it upside down, and as you see, it's nice and smooth. And we got 20.5 grams. Very good. So we'll be aiming for about 40 to 45 grams in 30 seconds. So what does the grind size do? So the grind size will be, so it's a number going from 0 to 45. Right now it's at 20. It will control how fast the coffee is. So by controlling how fine or how coarse the coffee granules are, or the coffee grounds are, this will control how fast or slow the coffee will flow. So if we have very fine grind size, let's say we put it all the way down to 1, that will make the coffee very slow to come out. It'll be very dark, very bitter. Let's say we go all the way to 45, very large. What will happen is it'll be very quick. We will get a lot of coffee in the double shot of 30 seconds. So it will always go for 30 seconds on the brewing. What changes as we change the grind size is the amount in the cup. So you want it to be about 45 grams, which is hard to see on camera, but that's why I have the scale, and with experience, you'll be able to tell what 40 grams looks like by your eye only. Use my pour filter, I'll lock it in the middle, and then I'll empty the cup. You can add any sugar or flavors you like before the espresso. I'm gonna add some sugar. You also have a hot water tap for making long black drinks. In the settings, you can control how much hot water you can get. So if you are doing a long black, you wouldn't move your cup, so you would only press long black and it will give you espresso, and then it will give you hot water right into the cup. You don't have to move it. But for this time, I'm only going to press the hot water button to get a little bit of hot water. Very nice. I didn't have to move the cup there. It's one less step for you if you're doing long black coffee. Cool. A little bit of sugar, it's good. Cool. Once I've zeroed my scale, now we can make a coffee. Of course, this is a dual boiler machine. You can always do steam and hot water at the same time, or steam and coffee. But for the video, I'll be doing them separately so we can commentate and see what's happening. Right. Again, I'll just quickly summarize. If we get very little coffee in the handle, that means our grind size is too fine, too small. We need to go up. If we get a lot of coffee in the handle, a lot of coffee in the cup, that means the grind size is too large. We need to reduce it. But we'll start at 20 to see what happens. Of channeling, stop it at 25 seconds. I think that's fast. We got a lot of coffee there. looked good on camera, for sure. As you can see, it's a coffee with a lot of crema. But maybe it was a bit too long. I'm not sure. Actually, no. This is 43 grams. So this is perfect. But we stopped it at 25 seconds or 26. 43 grams. This is what it looks like. Very nice and golden. This is what 43 grams looks like. Minus the water that I added in the beginning. So this is a 2-to-1 ratio. It'll taste good, I'm sure. It's just that because we stopped it early, maybe it's better if we grind a little bit finer. So this is a 20. So that means, let's say we let it go for 30 seconds. We would have gotten about 50 grams or 55 in 30 seconds. So we stopped it early to prevent that from happening, so we can drink the shot and enjoy it. Next time, if I'm using the same coffee, I would try grind size 18 or 19. And that will slow it down. So if I try 18 now, what will probably happen is my shot will be maybe 45 or 40 grams at the 30-second mark, which is perfect. A couple of things I will say: if you change your beans, or if you change the age of the bean or the type of the roast, your results will differ. And the other thing is, even with the same bag of beans, if you keep a lot of beans in the bean hopper and you fill it all the way, and you make a coffee on Monday, and then it's perfect. You make a coffee on Monday and it's perfect on grind size 20. If you keep using the same beans here, the top layer, and let's say the top half, will get oxidized and get older over the week. And by Saturday or Sunday, you make a coffee and you'll notice that it's very quick. You're getting a lot of coffee, much quicker than Monday. And that's because the top layer of the coffee gets older and oxidized. Or even from inside the grinder all the way up, oxygen will react with it. So I recommend you don't fill the bean hopper to keep the beans fresh. I personally recommend you either keep it in the bag of beans and close it with a clip, or get a vacuum canister like this one. This is a Breville Airscape. Yeah, so like I said, keep the beans only for 1 or 2 days in here. So maybe a handful of beans, like 40 grams or 50 grams of beans in there, not the full hopper. And that's gonna improve your quality of shots. Once it's done, give it a good knock, and then give it a flush. So this is going to clean your shower screen, it's going to clean your portafilter. Very nice. If you want to be extra nice to your machine, grab a brush or a tissue and wipe off the shower screen and the group seal, because even after you flush, there's a little bit of coffee in there sometimes. So you want to prevent that build-up by wiping it off after each coffee, or every other day at least. We don't want to let our coffee cool down too much, so we'll quickly go to milk. It's a very tasty shot. I've filled my milk jug halfway with milk, so up to here approximately, cold full cream milk. In terms of the milk settings, I will put it on 60 degrees Celsius, and in terms of the froth, I'll put it on number 9, which is the highest froth level. I just want to test the capabilities of the frother, so we'll put it on the maximum froth to see what its potential is. If you like less froth, of course, you can reduce it all the way to 1. Steaming is also very easy. You just press the froth button and it'll do everything. It'll do the temperature and it'll do the froth level. So, very nice. I'm going to grab a wet towel and As I pull out the milk jug, I'm going to wipe the wand. You don't want to let it drip onto the counter or floor, that's going to make a mess. And you don't want it to stay dirty. So let it drip for a little bit and then give it a good wipe. This is a lot of froth, that's very good. A good wipe. And that's for the daily cleaning. You just have to wipe it, and then when you push it down, it'll clean itself as well. But there's also a monthly cleaning cycle. So now it'll clean itself. Nice and clean. Happy. Now it's ready to make another coffee or be turned on. All done. That's my cappuccino finished. Once you finish steaming, give the jug a few taps on the counter to break any big air bubbles. Swirl it around to mix up the texture. And pour. Okay, no latte art for me today, unfortunately. If you are skilled, if you have the dexterity, like a barista, you very easily can do latte art with this machine on the cappuccino or even on the latte settings. In my case, I didn't succeed today. At least it's going to be a good tasting coffee. It doesn't look good on the latte art front. Yeah, you can also use it in manual mode. So if you pull up the wand, it'll allow you to steam like a barista and get that swirl in the milk and getting the texture you want for latte art. Thanks for watching, Nicky. I hope you enjoy. If you have any questions or concerns, please don't hesitate in contacting me. Hope you enjoy your machine, and I look forward to hearing from you. Thanks.